When did the Soviet Union end? Have you ever wondered about the moment when one of the largest countries in history came to an end? The Soviet Union officially ceased to exist on December 26, 1991. This date marked a significant turning point in global history. On that day, the Soviet of the Republics of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union issued Declaration number 142, formally dissolving the Soviet Union as a sovereign state. This action ended the federal government and concluded the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev. Gorbachev had been trying to reform the Soviet political and economic system. He faced challenges like stagnation and rising ethnic tensions. The dissolution followed a period of intense political crisis. Centralized power was weakening, and several of the 15 republics that made up the Soviet Union had already declared their independence. The leaders of the Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian Soviet Socialist republics, 3 of the founding members, announced that the Soviet Union no longer existed. Soon after, 8 more republics joined this declaration. On December 25, 1991, Gorbachev resigned as president. The very next day, the Soviet parliament voted to dissolve the Union. The collapse was not sudden. It was preceded by significant events earlier that year. In August 1991, there was a failed coup attempt by communist hardliners and military elites who opposed Gorbachev's reforms. This coup attempt weakened the Communist Party's control and empowered Republican leaders who wanted independence. Following the coup, Boris Yeltsin, the leader of Russia, outlawed the Communist Party in Russia. Gorbachev then dissolved the party across the rest of the country. Several republics, including the Baltic states and Ukraine, had already moved toward independence earlier that year. From the perspective of communism, the end of the Soviet Union represented a major loss for the global communist movement. The Soviet Union had been a central symbol of communist governance. Its dissolution marked the failure of the communist system in that form. However, it also highlighted the challenges the Soviet Union faced, such as internal stagnation and ethnic divisions. In practical terms, the end of the Soviet Union led to the emergence of 15 independent nation-states. Each of these countries began to pursue its own political and economic paths, often moving away from communism. The collapse also marked the end of the Cold War era and reshaped global geopolitics. The Soviet Union officially ended on December 26, 1991, following a series of political crises, failed reforms, and declarations of independence by its republics.